Alrighty, now that BestCrypt is installed, let's go ahead and start up that application. You do that through the control panel here, or if you've already rebooted your system, you can do a right click here and open up the control panel. So let's go ahead and open up the control panel. And then here we have different types of files that we're using within our environment. This is a pretty easy environment to set up. So let's go ahead and just look. If we're trying to mount a container, for example, I'm going to hit container and browse, and then I'm going to go out and find the container that I want to mount. Okay, so for example, I can find it anywhere. Let's say maybe I find it on my Google Drive, right? So wherever it is, I can find that drive to mount. Then once I mount it, it appears here in my folder. So now that you have it open here, what I do is I use another application called LastPass, and I store all of my usernames and passwords inside of there. And I have an internal code that I use in order to figure out which password is needed on this. So to open this file, it's pretty easy. I can click on it once and it'll open it up and ask me for my password, or I can do a right click on it and say mount. So that's pretty easy. One last thing that's kind of cool about this system is you can create your own groups. So here I can go up to a new group. Oops, and I messed up. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that group. So I'm going to go up to my computer and I'm going to hit new group. I'm going to say test. And now that group I want to add. So if I add a new container, it's going to automatically put it into that group for me. If I want to just add a link to an existing file that I have, I could say add link, and then I could just click on whatever that is, and now that will appear here underneath my folder here. So it just makes it a little bit easier to find things within your environment. So that's pretty much it for BestCrypt. It's pretty simple to use. Once you open up the directory, by the way, it mounts itself as an individual drive on your system. So let's go ahead and put that password in. I'm just going to type it in here, and I'm going to hit OK. And now you hear the sound, and of course, all of the stuff comes up on your screen here. So pretty easy to use, very simple. Once I close this, notice here that the file stays open. So that's not good, right? So we want to make sure that we set the timer to make sure that all of these files get logged out automatically. I'm going to show you how to dismount here in just a moment, but let's go ahead and look under options here. Go to timeout. Just go ahead and set yours to 10 minutes, for example. Now, to log out, you've got two options. One, you can hit here and dismount all. Another one, you can go down here and do a right click and say dismount all, or you can go to the specific drive here and say dismount. So I'm just going to dismount, and now the file's dismounted. Now this won't affect any other thing about your file system. These files are just like any other file on your system. This one happens to be 100 meg. This is a gig. This is 2 gig. All right, so it's the same type of file. It's just one big file. So if you're using replication or backup, it's just going to be backed up or replicated as a single file.